Right, so I'm just supposed to ask her a few questions. Keep it on the down low, kind of like, right, I see you, right. You guys told me there was a laugh track. Can I use that whenever I want? Like, it's just like that button down, right? Funny little noise, isn't it? I won't use it, I promise. Right, yeah, okay. Right. I'll practice how to say my hellos. Hello. 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 Hey. Oh, hi. Hello. It's lovely to meet
nice to
you.
meet you.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Hi. Hi. So today we're just going to be going through a few questions about your opening sequence, Miss Dodd. Nothing too hard, as you know, you made it. So off we go, I guess. Right. Yeah, I'm your reporter. Right.
We're getting right into it. Perfect.
So, could you tell us the name of your opening sequence and the genre, and like the genre conventions? Yeah, thanks.
So my movie and opening sequence is named 999 Operator, as I'm sure you know, and it is the genre of a thriller, and it follows very stereotypical thriller conventions. It's very suspenseful, climatic, lots of tension building that we like to add in there, and it has a hint of mystery kind of like weaved throughout the movie, which we included from the very beginning in the opening sequence, which I can talk about later.
Sorry.
Is that a laugh
I
track?
wasn't supposed to do that, not the laugh track, yeah.
A laugh track.
Sorry,
on
carry on, Miss, carry on.
A laugh track, okay. No worries. Oh yeah, I'll get back into it. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a thriller, and kind of the outline of the movie is it follows a 999 operator, and he gets this call from this girl who seems to be in danger, getting kidnapped, as we later find out. And we see his slow demise into like a psychotic episode in which he's very much obsessed with what had happened, to the point where it is constantly on his mind in his dreams. You know, he daydreams about it, he's always thinking about it, and something he never expected, and something that is not very professional. But
right, moving on. Could you tell us if you could compare your opening sequence and your idea of your film to any other films or TV shows or any type of media in general? And yeah, if you could tell us if you know any shows, if you like could possibly link their like mise en scène, is that the word? Mise en scène, or camera work or editing or any of that, you know, jazz. Could you tell us how it links together or anything?
Right, I actually do have a few movies that we could compare ours to. Obviously none super similar, but the idea of a damsel in distress has always been a very popular like media focus, I guess you could say. It could be very entertaining for both male and female audiences, and in betweens. So the first one I would compare it to is the movie called The Guilty, and I'm pretty sure it was made in 2018, and the mise en scène and the lighting down to the single character shown in one of the scenes where the operator gets a call in the movie The Guilty is very, very similar to ours, which I guess you could put down to it being a stereotypical workplace, however, for a 999 operator. However, yeah, it was crazy, the parallels. Where we changed it, they seemed to change it as well. I hadn't seen this before we made the movie, but the lighting was so similar, where we both had a dark background and it was a dark room. There was like the reflection from the screens in which they were using onto their face, which we thought was very dramatic. The use of very dark lighting we included was due to the tone that it gave it quite a dark tone, setting it from the beginning. Also, it set the time of day, nighttime, which also connotes to where a lot of bad stuff can happen in general. The camera angles were also quite similar to the sense of showing the operator's face at an angle as well as behind, which we did a few times throughout opening sequence in order to kind of show what was there and like the professionalism, not like they were doing something silly on the laptop and they weren't just talking to themselves, but it did just add to the atmosphere, and I assume that's what that was the reason why they added to it, and I think it made it look very aesthetically pleasing as well to the eye. The next movie I would say that was very similar is The Call, and it was made in 2013, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and so one of the sequence, and I think the plot line is very similar with the idea of the kidnapping, whereas in The Guilty it didn't really have that, and it followed the same idea where there was a call from someone that was getting kidnapped in that moment, and the operator's on the call with them. So your crew told me that they would overlay. Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm listening.
Sorry. Your crew told me that they would overlay the comparisons, because I think it's quite interesting, especially because they're in the same genre. It's really I find it really interesting, the similarities.
911, where's your emergency?
A man is trying to break into my house. I'm all alone.
Okay, sweetheart, calm down.
My parents are out there at a movie. I can't reach them.
What's your location, please?
I think I need help.
Okay, have you got a street name, number?
I'm in my house, 23rd Oak Lane.
When we didn't even know, that was how they had wrote it or how they had played it out. But anyways, so yeah, The Call, the movie, one of the scenes which I sent to your team to put in, it is very similar to our opening sequence in the sense where there is that call, the call, and there is the person on the other end of the phone is very distressed. We hear screaming, and they're kind of outlaying what is going on at that very moment. And both in The Call and in our movie The Operator, you can see that distress on the face of the operator.
Sophie, I need you to stay quiet. Sophie, I need you to stay quiet. Sophie, no, Sophie, can you hear me? What is...
The only real difference with those two different scenes was in The Call they actually displayed the girl that was on the other end of the phone, whereas we wanted to keep it more of a mystery for it being the beginning of our movie. So we maintained the camera on our main guy, which was the operator. But yeah, I think both were equally effective. The editing in The Call was a little bit more fast-paced compared to ours. I'd say they switched between angles a lot more frequently than we did. But we chose to keep the longer shots because it created a real tension to it, in our opinion. Whereas I think it really matched The Call because they'd showed those different clips. It really merged them quite well. Whereas ours, we wanted to create that sense to the audience where we wanted them on the edge of their seats. We wanted them to continue watching the movie and to find out what happened, to find out if the girl's still there. And finally, the last piece of media I would compare it to is The Dispatch. It was made in 2015, and I didn't really see this whole movie, however I did look at the trailer, and in the trailer there is that same sense of creating a humour to the movie, even though it has that dark side. And so in the trailer it displayed this kid calling up the operator, the police, where it is a very serious thing where you could be blocking the line to someone that actually needed the help. And she's like, stop playing around. And it was to create that humour, I assume. And in our one, we have a similar sense where there is a jokey call, and it's a drunk girl who calls and she's like, I can't find my keys, and obviously there's nothing that the policeman can do, and she finds them soon after while on the call.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a boogeyman in the house. Do you think you'll find me?
Listen, kid, you need to hang up so this line can remain open for emergencies.
Do you require?
Key finder service, please.
Okay. So, what's your name?
Jessica.
Jessica. Hello, Jessica. You've called the emergency services. I'm not sure that.
Oh, wait, I found my keys.
Okay. So, you.
And it does create that kind of lighthearted energy to the scene. And it also kind of displays the laid-back workplace in which they are set in. So it creates a really heavy contrast when there is this big dramatic event that affects the lives of all these characters across all these different medias. So with sound, I couldn't really find anything to compare our one to, because our sound was created by one of our team members who was very talented. But it did create a great effect in where we overlaid, you know, the titles of the names of who worked on the movie. I think we used the serif font, which it's very, very serious, very simple, and it allowed the audience, we hope, to focus on the shots that were at hand, which were the operator's space and his workspace, which was very simple, but we just wanted to really set that scene as this was the beginning of our movie. We wanted to set the pace, the idea for everyone that was watching.
Yeah. Carry on, tell us more about this film, because to be honest, I got asked to do this job like an hour ago, and I don't actually understand all of this, but it's, I get free lunch. Actually, I'm saving up for some new merch. Sorry, I'm making it about myself, I tend to do that, but actually, my son, he's into Minecraft, so it's actually, it's a water bottle. Yeah, it's lovely. Sorry guys, sorry. Right, do I look good? Right, yeah. So tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Right, so you don't really know what I'm talking about. Okay. Should I continue? Okay. Sorry. Right, what else could I talk about? The representations and the characters, I guess I could talk about, instead of, comparing it to the other shows. Sorry. You really got me there. Sorry. So yeah, do you mind if I take a break? I'm just what you just said then? No? Okay. Right, so the representations and the characters, I guess I could talk about, instead of comparing it to those different medias, I'll focus on ours. So in our opening sequence, we have 4 characters introduced. 2 physically. We have the operator and someone that he seems to be working with. Shows very laid back, stereotypical workplace. The mise en scène of the dialogue of "I'll make you a coffee," something along those lines. It really displays and links back to the humorous, laid back work setting in which they're in. So we have those 2 characters, and then we have the two girls that are on the call. The first one being the drunk girl, very typical. Sorry. Very stereotypical, once again, a drunk girl, a drunk call, something silly, dumb, and then we have the other girl, which is the damsel in distress. It really shows that binary opposition of the victim and the perpetrator, between the girl that is on the call, and I guess the 5th character, which is the kidnapper, where you know, not a lot of acknowledgement is maybe focused on him because the focus is on the dialogue in which she's saying, but you can hear him in the background. You can hear like loud bangs, and you can hear "Where are you?" and obviously then which leads to the screaming and the cut. So there is that victim and perpetrator complex there. Every character, I would say, that we showed had a stereotype, whether it was forced or not. So as I said before, there was the damsel's distress, there was the kidnapper, the operator, and the drunk girl. I would say the operator possibly breaks that stereotype, in which he shows his emotion very clearly through his facial expressions and how it affects him, which is not very professional in that job line. So I would say that is a break of the stereotype of being in a workplace where you're not really supposed to attach your emotions to your work. It's not funny. Okay.
Yeah, continue.
You've really thrown me off my game. I'm sorry. I guess you
Keep
could
speaking
bring
now.
in the idea of the representation of like age and gender and race, where we show the two last characters that are I guess they're staying late at the end of the workday, or it's their shift. They are white ethnically, however we are unaware of any of the races in which are behind the phone, and so it does keep that sense of mystery as well as the age, whereas you could say in The Office it is like very much middle age, possibly a more stable job. Gender, I guess, could be defined with the two males and then the two females over the phone. However, you can't really say who the gender of the kidnapper is because of the effect we put on the voice to make it sound like a phone call. The class, I would say, is very much middle class. It doesn't look like a very bougie workplace. We didn't really use any like rich colours that connote to that idea of wealth. The mise-en-scène of costume was very much simple, dark, white colours. We didn't want anything intricate. We wanted a very much blended in kind of society in that sense. The theme with the whole idea of both the damsel in distress and the perpetrator and the operator is the idea and dynamic of power. And with the operator, we have someone who's assumably a higher power to him, his boss. And we could say we show this lack of power, both mentally and physically, with the shots that we do. We never really do any low angle shots. They're always either mid or higher, to kind of show that weight on him, whereas the power dynamic with the kidnapper and the damsel in distress is obviously
I've no idea what you're on about.
That life and death situation. So I'd say we successfully used all of the areas that we could have, as I said, the mise-en-scène, the editing, the camera work, and the sound especially. One of my favourite parts, where we overlaid the sound with our shots and we placed our like titles in the negative space. I just think all around we did a very successful job in creating an opening sequence which would make consumers want to continue watching, and I think it is quite a wide target audience, I would say. For those of you that are watching, I definitely suggest it.
Right. It was nice having you today. Thank you for all of this wonderful
Thank you very much.
information, I guess. Camera crew's getting a bit bonkers. It's been a long day. So thank you for coming. Hopefully I don't see you again, but hopefully you get this gig again. Yeah. Right, it was lovely to meet you, love.
Yeah.
It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you soon. Right now. Bye. Close the door. I don't think that sandwich was worth it. Lunch break my fucking ass.